Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you've seen the part 1 of how many Penguin Little Black Classics do I own, this is the second. This is the sequel to that first part because I apparently could not fit the entire thing in one video. I don't know what happened to the light there, but hey, welcome to my channel. Welcome to a very weird corner of the internet where I have decided I'll be discussing books and snippets of my life from now on. Yeah, so welcome. This is the second part of the video. If you have not checked out the first part, please go check that out. And there's also another video called Unboxing the Penguin Little Black Classics with you guys. Go check that out as well. That'll give you some context as to why I'm filming this. Let's move on to the last two piles that we have, this being the first, and I don't know if I can hold it in my hand, this being the second. Let's get started. We have a long way to go. Okay, so I think we stopped at The Figure in the Carpet by Henry James, 49. Next we have 48. This is The Reckoning by Edith Wharton. It says, from the great writer of the turn of the century New York, two devastating portraits of lonely widowhood and an unconventional marriage. Please count me in. That is very intriguing. I love it. Anything that's unconventional, I am in. The next one we have is The Great Fire of London by Samuel Pepys. Originally written in code, Pepys's diary includes his unforgettable eyewitness account of the 1666 fire. Please count me in. That sounds interesting. This is 47. The next book that we have is 46. This is Nikolai Gogol, and he's written The Nose. The blurb says, Russia's great 19th century satirical absurdist shows what happens when a man wakes up with his nose missing and illustrates the folly of boasting. This is either going to be the best book I have ever read, or this is going to be the worst and the most dumb book I've ever read. I hope it's the first. It's the former. Next that we have is Remember Body by C.P. Cavafy. Moving sensual verses on nostalgia and desire by the masterful early 20th century Greek poet. I'm in. The next we have, I have been recommended this book several times. This is 42. It's The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. Yeah. This horrifying semi-autobiographical feminist story of the imprisonment and madness of scandalized 19th century society. I am in. Yeah. Then we have, this is 41. This is The Atheist's Mass by Honor D. Balzac. I don't know how to pronounce it, guys. Please let me know in the comments. How do you pronounce the author name? But the blurb says, two devastating stories of faith and sacrifice from Balzac's panorama of 19th century French life. Devastating stories of faith and sacrifice. Okay. Next we have 40. This is The Seal Flea by Nikolai Leskov. An uproarious romp of one-upmanship and drunkenness from the 19th century Russian comic genius. Okay. Next we have 39. This is The Old Nurse's Story by Elizabeth Gaskell. A ghostly child roams the Northumberland moors while fairy tale characters gather at a strange party in these two Victorian Gothic tales. I don't know what about Victorian Gothic tales intrigues me. Probably it's their dressing sense, or their foolish and stupid conversations that they have with each other. There's something about Victorian conversations and Victorian gatherings and movies that kind of intrigue the hell out of me. So, yeah. The next book that we have, oh, this is by Hafiz. It's called The Nightingales Are Drunk by Hafiz. Spiritual, sensual verses on love, heartbreak, and celebrating life's small pleasures by the great 14th century Persian poet. Please count me in. That is going to be the best book of my life. And I can say that for a fact. I know I love Rumi. I know I love Persian poets who write on love. I love Elif Shafak. She's written 40 Rules of Love, which is very much based on Rumi's aphorisms on love. I love Hafiz. I love another Persian poet. I forget his name right now. I'm going to love Hafiz. Of course, I'm going to love him. I love Shamsi Tabriz, who was Rumi's master. This, though, is Henry Mayhew. It's called Off Street Pieman. The matchless chronicler of Victorian Londoners observes everything from surprise to pie fillings to a balloon ride over the city. Okay, that sounds very boring to me, but fine. This is Dante, Circles of Hell, and this is number 25. A terrifying depiction of sin and eternal damnation from Dante's Inferno, the medieval epic that revolutionized the Italian language. Forgive my language today, because I've been recording this video for over an hour. So okay, the next book that we have is number 24. This is called The Gate of the Hundred Sorrows by Rudyard Kipling. It says, opium dens, curses, ghostly tombs, the sinister tales of imperial India made Kipling's name as a writer. I am interested. Opium dens, curses and ghostly tombs. Okay, that sounds like India. That sounds like my country. That sounds like rural Bengal, to be honest. This is number 22. It is How a Ghastly Story Was Brought to Light by a Common or Garden Butcher's Dog. I'm sorry, that is a freaking sentence. Why is that a title? By Johann Peter Hebel. Like, sir, why would you put that as your title? Like, what happened? This is like the entire story in a title. Sparkling miniature German fables, sketches and tall tales, including Kafka's favorite story. If Kafka says yes, I say yes. Forget what I said about the title. If Kafka says yes, okay, I'm yes. This is number 21. It's called Trimalchio's Feast by Petronius. A bitingly comic portrait of the vulgar Trimalchio and his debauched, drunken Roman banquet, from the outrageous Latin masterpiece, the Satyricon. Okay, debauched, drunken Roman banquet interests me. Next, we have Herman Melville, The Maldive Shark. Dark, nightmarish sea stories and poems inspired by Melville's adventures around the world's oceans in a whaler. Please count me in. My master that he recommends Herman Melville a lot. He also recommended Jonathan Livingston Seagull. If you have not read that, it's by Richard Bach. If you have not read that story, please go and read it. Please read it today. It's some of the most liberating, words that I've found besides Prophet by Khalil Gibran. Then we have This is 37, The Great Winglebury Duel by Charles Dickens. Two rollicking tales of scoundrels and never-do-wells from the sketches by Boz that launched Dickens' career. I'm not interested in that, I'm sorry. That doesn't sound interesting to me. This is number 36, Sketchy, Doubtful, Incomplete Jottings. Sounds like something that I would name my diary. my journal. The great 19th century German thinkers' musings on self deceit, superstition, art, and ambition. With that, I mean, count me in. If something is sketchful, doubtful, and incomplete, count me in, please. But with that, we're done with the first kind of set. We are down to the last set of Penguin Little Black Classics. I mean, if you ask me, even I don't know how have I not gone mad discussing. I just one random morning I just woke up and decided to discuss all of these books with you all at one time without going mad. That's impossible, guys. This is more than 80 Penguin Little Black Classics. I'm reading the blurb. I'm telling you some snippets of what I like, what I don't. And it takes time and it puts pressure on my vocal cord, and it's really, really tiring. And I've been sitting here for the last 1.5 hours now. Yeah, recording and re-recording, shutting the windows, opening the windows. The dogs are barking, sometimes they're not. It is right now 12 to, so it's noon. Anyway, let's get done with this. Sorry, I ranted, but I needed to. The next book that we have is Samuel Taylor Coleridge, number 35. Well, they're gone, and here must I remain. This is why do you put that in the title? What's the intention? Why do you put that in the title? Well, they're gone, and here must I remain. Okay, remain, but why that's the title? Why is that the title? Dreamlike, poignant verse on passion, torment, and resplendent landscapes from one of the first romantic poets. Okay, but why that title? 34. Gooseberries by Anton Chekhov. Chekhov perfected the short story as shown in these three moving miniature dramas of love, dread, and lies. That I am intrigued about. Chekhov perfected the short story as shown in these three moving miniature dramas of love, dread, and lies. Count me in. Okay, next we have, this is number 33, The Beautiful Cassandra by Jane Austen. Now, Jane Austen is somebody who we've been told to read multiple times. Okay, I just now realized that my phone is situated at an angle which is kind of not straight. I hope it is straight and not too inclined to an angle. Anyway, now Jane Austen we've been told to read multiple times, so I'll have a good time. I hope I'll go into this with a lot of anticipation. Austen's riotous early stories of drunks, poisoners, and prison breaks, written for her family's entertainment when she was a teenager. Now I am hooked. You count me in, please. Next is A Hippo Banquet. This is number 32 by Mary Kingsley. The fearless, pioneering Victorian female explorer describes dodging elephants and fighting off a leopard with a stool in Africa. You're dodging elephants and fighting off a leopard with a stool? That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. This is number 30, The Terrors of the Night by Thomas Nash. If I'm not wrong. If I'm wrong with the pronunciation, either forgive me or correct me. Don't come at me. Demonic horrors and spirits dreamt up by the most exuberant, inventive prose writer of Elizabethan England. Oh, we are on to Elizabethan era with Thomas Nash. So this is, wow. It must be 15th century stuff then. Okay. We have Geoffrey Chaucer also. My god, Penguin Black Classics. Whoever has compiled this collection must have had a good time compiling this, because this is number 28, and Geoffrey Chaucer is probably from the 14th century, if I'm not wrong. One of the most famous Canterbury Tales casts a satirical eye over sex and marriage in the medieval age. I was right. Please count me in. This is The Wife of Bath by Geoffrey Chaucer. Now we have 29 here. How we weep and laugh at the same thing. I agree. This is Michel de Montaigne. Um, Glittering essays by the Renaissance master of the form, exploring contradictions in human thoughts and actions. Now I'm interested. If you're exploring juxtapositions, I'm interested. If you're exploring oxymorons, I'm interested. Sarcasm, irony, interested. Debauchery, interested. Drugs, interested. Love, lies, death, interested. Don't tell me you're dodging elephants and fighting off a leopard with a stool in South Africa. Please don't tell me that. I'm not interested. This is Olala by Robert Louis Stevenson. This is number 19, and it says, this is Stevenson's chilling Victorian Gothic novella about decaying aristocracy, vampirism, and tormented love. Okay, I'll read it. I've bought it, I'll read it. This is number 18. This is Jason and Medea by Apollonius of Rhodes. And it says, a heroic tale of love, anguish, and golden fleece from the ancient Greek epic Argonautica, I don't know. We'll see when we read it. This is number 17, Caligula by Suetonius. The original biography of the murderous, crazed, and incestuous Roman Emperor Caligula, who pronounced himself God. You ask me what a delusion looks like. This is what delusion looks like. The original biography of the murderous, crazed, incestuous Roman Emperor Caligula, who pronounced himself a god. This is exactly what Delulu looks like. Delusion looks like. I love it. Please bring it on. This is number 16. This is Travels in the Land of Serpents and Pearls by Marco Polo. It says, the intrepid Venetian traveler's observations of a 13th century India filled with lavish jewels, chaste princes, superstitions, and naked armies. Oh my god. I never knew that about 13th century India. Was it filled with lavish jewels, chaste princes, superstitions, and naked armies? Are we living in the worst quality that India has ever seen herself in? I'm intrigued. Next we have number 15. This is Femme Fatale. I don't know how you pronounce it. By Guy de Maupassant. Guy de Maupassant, I've read some of his short stories. So I'm intrigued to read this one as well. Let's see what the blurb says. 4 sparkling 19th century tales of Parisian high society and rural life from the father of the modern short story. Okay, count me in. Next we have Thomas Hardy, Woman Much Missed. This is number 14. Moving elegiac verse set in rural landscapes penned by the grief-stricken Hardy after his wife's death. Count me in. Thank you. Grief after wife's death or anybody that you've lost. The way that grief expresses itself after you have lost somebody is so ridiculous, and at the same time it is so it's like it is so poignant and ridiculous at the same time that you cannot miss on it, because this is a time where you're very passionate about love, loss, and grief, but you don't know how to pen your words because you're overwhelmed with a number of emotions. So I'm intrigued. This is John Keats, The Eve of St. Agnes. This is number 13. The romantic poet's most lyrical, enchanting verse on myth, sensuality, dreams, and superstition. Count me in. Okay guys, we are on to the last few books. Bear with me here, because I am bearing with me. If you are watching this video, thank you so much, because if I were you, I would have clicked off. I don't know what made you do this. I'm really grateful to you. Like, thank you. I would not have this much patience. This is number 12. How to Use Your Enemies by Balthazar Gracian. I don't know how you pronounce that name. Okay, please correct me. A 17th century Spanish priest's shrewd maxims on using guile and pragmatism to succeed in a dangerous world. Sounds something that Kautilya would write. This is number 11. This is a cup of sake beneath the cherry trees. That makes no sense. By Kenko. Moonlight, spring blossom, a woman's hair. A medieval Japanese monk reflects on the idle moments and life's fleeting joys. Count me in. Anything by a Japanese author, please count me in. I'm very intrigued to read Osamu Dazai because some people have really told me great things about Osamu Dazai and others thought that he was crazy. I'm really intrigued because when somebody is crazy, I'm usually of the opinion that they're a genius. And society has led them to become crazy. So I'm really intrigued to read Osamu Dazai. This is On the Beach at Night Alone by Walt Whitman. This is number 10. We're down to the very last few books. The visionary 19th century American poet celebrates nature and human spirit in these verses from Leaves of Grass. Is that it? Oh my god, I've got an excerpt from Leaves of Grass in my home. I'm really intrigued. Okay, the next one is number 9. This is Three Tang Dynasty Poets by Anonymous. Pastoral lyrical verse evoking the rural landscapes of and peoples of 8th century China from three of its finest poets. I am very intrigued. If you're giving me a glimpse of 8th century China, I'm really intrigued. I'm intrigued about China, Japan, Persia, Greece, India, Rome, Italy, Spain. I'm intrigued about love, life, death, loss, grief, debauchery, incest, alcohol, spirituality, moon, mysticism. I'm intrigued. I'm a very intrigued person in general. I can't help it. This is number 8. See, this is what happens when you've been sitting and recording something for the last 1.5 hours. You don't know what you are, who you are, where are you, why are you born, and you start ranting like this. So you have to bear with me. Thank you. This is a modest proposal by Jonathan Swift. Swift's ferocious landmark 18th century political satire on how to solve a famine in Ireland. Okay. This is number 7. This is Wailing Ghosts by Pu Songling. 3 delightful miniature tales of macabre hauntings, monsters, and magic tricks are classical China's greatest stories. Is that it? These delightful miniature tales of macabre hauntings, monsters, and magic tricks are classical China's greatest stories. Thank you. I am in. Anything from China and Japan, I am in. Be it haikus, monsters. You're talking about Chinese slaves, culture, monks. You're talking about Buddha. I'm in. Thank you. This is Traffic by John Ruskin. This is number 6. Okay, the radical Victorian art critics excoriating defense of dignity and creativity in a world obsessed by money. Okay, that sounds like an angry man's rant, but we are interested. If it critiques obsession with power and money, I'm in. This is number 5, Aphorisms on Love and Hate by Friedrich Nietzsche. Oh my god. I never even knew I owned a piece of Friedrich Nietzsche. The iconoclastic German philosopher's blazing maxims on revenge, false pity, and the drawbacks of marriage. I love it. And then we have On Murder, considered as one of the fine arts by Thomas De Quincey. The provocative early 19th century essayist casts a blackly comic eye over the aesthetics of murder through the ages. If you are romanticizing murder, please count me in. So now you know what kind of a weird person you're talking to. This is the saga of Gunlog Serpent Tongue. Again, I don't know how do you pronounce this? Gunlog? Gunlog? Ranging across Scandinavia, England, Ireland, a Viking Age epic of 2 poets in a doomed pursuit of Helga the Fair. Okay, guys, we've come to the last book. Let me breathe a little bit. Thank you. Thank you for maintaining that silence for me. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is As Kingfishers Catch Fire by Gerard Manley Hopkins, considered unpublishable in his lifetime. The Victorian priest's groundbreaking experimental verse on nature's glory and despair. I mean, I'm in. I'm in. Considered unpublishable in his lifetime? Why is it unpublishable? It just talks about nature's glory and despair. Anyway, we'll find that out, guys. That's all. That's all. Thank you for being there. If you saw the video till the end, please comment, I was here with you. You were not alone. Just comment, you were not alone. That'll give me a little bit of a moral support. I thank you for being there, guys. Thank you for being there. You don't know how much it meant, the fact that you were there with me. Because I'm almost on the verge of declaring myself a madman. Thank you for being there. These were all of my Penguin Little Black classics. So I probably own 84 or 85 Penguin Little Black classics. So maybe 4 or 5 books other than the set that I owned. Why I did this video was because I myself had no idea about which books I received in the 80 books of Penguin Little Black classics. I wanted to have a glimpse through them. I wanted to see what authors I own, what titles I own, and what were they about. Most of these books fascinated me. The blurbs fascinated me. I am very intrigued because these books are weird, mysterious, and very eerie. At the same time, they're very poignant, witty, sharp, and at the same breath, they contain an essence of truth that is unexplainable, that is beyond logic, which is what draws me to these Penguin Little Black classics time and time again. But one of my favorite Penguin Little Black classics until now, I love all of them, but it has to be Only Dull People Are Brilliant at Breakfast by Oscar Wilde. If I had to choose one, I would choose that. If I had to choose two, I would choose this and Speaking of Shiva. If I had to choose three, I would choose these two and Letters to a Young Poet by Rainer Maria Rilke. Although Dostoevsky would be a close fourth, these three really hit the spot. I love you. I hope you're taking care of your body. I hope you've eaten something today. I hope you decide to move your body today. Take a brisk walk or something. I love you very much. I hope that you don't hate me. And if you do, I'm okay with that as well. If you like the video, please do whatever you like. I'm sounding like a mad woman. Thank you for being there. I love you. And I'll see you in the next video. Until then, happy reading. Bye. I love you.